People try to tell me forms right before a show, and I'm like, I'll try.
Yeah, I like to just get on there and just start.
Yeah, me too. I kind of like to just go and yeah, I'm not a big fan of making things too complicated.
Right. Especially on virtually,
Oh, man. Have you been doing, and we'll talk a little bit about this afterwards, but how are you liking the virtual experience?
At first I wasn't a huge fan, but I think it was because I was just missing the stage too much.
Sure.
Um, and now that it's been like 8 months since I've seen a stage, it's like, well, I guess this is what we do now.
Right? It's like, um, okay, it's this or nothing.
Yeah, yeah, that's all it is.
I I used to like when I first started, it was like, oh, it's not the same. And then I'm like, oh right, it's not gonna be the same. It just can't be.
No, no, we have to kind of we have to throw out the rule book, or at least put it on hold,
Yeah.
and then make a new rule book for this point in our improv lives, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's like new rules. The old rules,
Yeah.
some of them apply, some not, but like, yeah, you're making it like like improv, I guess, making it up as you go.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we're all kind of at the beginning where, I mean, I guess usually if you're new to improv around now, everyone who's done everything has done everything. So you get to be on the ground floor now.
Yes. It's like pioneers of this new art form.
Yeah. Super fun.
Um, so fun. We've got let's see, one, two, three. Pick a number between 1 and 45,
Whoa.
right?
Okay. I'm going to choose my age, which is 41.
41.
Let's
Thank
do it.
you. Thank you for saying that, because a gentleman does not ask the age. 45, 44, 43, 42, 41. Okay, this comes from Michael. And our suggestion is um, there's always a third way. There's always a third way.
Okay.
Thanks, Michael.
Let's see where that takes us.
Let's see.
I yeah. I guess there's always another way to do this. Who knew? Right?
I didn't know.
Yeah. Like here I'm thinking you rob a bank,
Yep.
you go into the bank, you like state your demands, you get the money and you go. But apparently we're just dealing with a whole new level of robbery here.
Well, I mean, in that way, it's like it's pretty cut and dry. But
Yeah.
I, to say that there's another way where we walk into the bank, we say we're here to rob the bank, we then leave the bank. We don't actually take any of the money.
Right, just go again.
We just go again, and we just keep popping up, and we lull them into a sense of satisfaction, as if, oh, here these two are again.
Yeah.
And
When are
then
they going to rob us already?
yeah,
And then we do it, and they're like, oh, finally,
yeah,
here is my money.
yeah. Like they willingly give us. See, this is why I like working with you, is because people a lot of times they just want to say no to anything that's out of the ordinary. That's the problem. Is like people go, it's
Yeah.
black or white, it's
Yeah.
purple or green. I mean, it's those were both pretty solid analogies there. So they're like,
Yeah. I mean, this is the Wild West, man. It's
yes.
time to just get started and just do something else. Play with people's emotions by appearing and then disappearing again.
That, see, I was talking to my uncle, and he said it's about not about what you do, it's about how you make people feel.
Ah, Yes, I remember your uncle.
Hmm.
Your uncle Orville Wilbur.
Yeah, Orville Wilbur.
Like, yeah, he did the first like real bank robbery, and I mean, I worship that guy, and so I mean, if he's down for change, I'm down for change. Like, who am
Good,
I?
good pun. Change, bank robbery. Great,
Yeah.
great pun. Great.
Oh, remember that day
Yeah,
we went to that first federal, I forgot, it was like a credit union, and all we
yeah.
got was like $50 in quarters? Talk about egg on our faces. That was crazy.
I mean, I mean, in one way, I felt completely embarrassed, but in the other way, I had finally achieved a task, and I that I set my mind out to do. And before
Yeah,
that, I've been a talker.
right. And now we're just doing it. Or we're doing it and then not doing it and doing it again.
Yeah, we're doing, not doing, redoing, doing it again. By the time we think about it, by the ninth time we come in, they're like, just take the money. We are just
Yeah,
happy to see you.
right. They might meet us at the car with the money. And they're like, oh, okay, it's been 20 minutes. We knew you were coming back. Don't even get out the car.
Well,
Curbside service.
curbside service,
Hmm.
they'll take it to us.
Take it to us. We've been working harder and not smarter. And I think that this is a way for us to work smarter.
Oh my God, you just said we've been working harder, but not smarter.
Mhm.
That's pretty brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. I made that up myself. I like to come up with different, quips and non sequiturs, and you know, sometimes I'm like just driving around and I'm like, Amy, you should work smarter, not harder. And then I write it down and I tell it to a friend, just like now.
Does that blow your mind twice? It blows your mind the first time when you think of it,
Yeah,
and then when you write it down and see it.
yeah. Like the first time I'm like, oh my gosh, am I a genius? And I'm really impressed with myself. And then I get to relive it when I tell it to somebody else. It's great.
Amy, can I be honest with you?
Sure,
I
sure.
mean,
Anything, Jeff.
when you said to me, "Hey, there's got to be a third way," I I went for a long walk by the river,
Mm, yep, the
and
thinking place.
I was like, "There's no way. There's a third way." I'm like, there can't be a third way. There's only two ways to rob a bank."
Yeah.
And I walked for the full night. I walked throughout the night, and I was like, Amy's always on to something, but maybe this time she doesn't know what it is. Maybe. And then I was like, no, she knows what she's talking about. We just need to find out what that third thing is.
Yeah. Yeah. Rule of threes. There's always,
There's,
always a third way to do things. And
I,
it's just, yeah.
I just want to apologize first off for doubting you even the slightest. Like the fact that I thought that you might not know what you're talking about, like really hurts me. And I needed to say it because it's got to get out in the light. It's got to be seen.
You know what? You have nothing to apologize for. When
Really?
I thought about it myself, I thought, okay, this is insane. Like, like, this is
Yeah.
not an idea. I had to take some time with it. So I totally understand. And that's a great thing about you. We are checks and balances in this whole enterprise.
Good pun again with the check and the balance.
I just send them out. If you catch them, you catch them.
Oh, I caught them, and I'm hoping
Yeah,
for more of those.
yeah. Just keep on going. Oh, man.
Can I tell you something else now?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
I I should have. So I don't know if I enjoying so much our time together. I enjoy what we do. I enjoy robbing banks. I enjoy counting the money that I'm not, I don't know how to say it. I'm just going to say it. I left Tilly. I am no longer, we are no longer married.
Oh.
And because I enjoy spending my time with you so much, doing what we're doing, and
Yeah.
I feel that I've been a little bit distant with trying to come up with these plans. You're always coming up with the plans. You're doing all of the work. You're doing all the heavy lifting. And I want to fully recommit myself to you to be the best bank robbing partner I can be. I'm cutting all my distractions. I'm getting rid of them all. I'm moving forward with this as my main priority.
Yeah. You know what that is, friend? That is growth.
Wait.
Yeah.
Again with the pun. Again.
I don't know where they come from. They're just here and now they're out there.
Whether you're just telling a story or you're trying to help someone out, they just come in there at the right place. It is growth.
Yeah, it's growth. It's ROI. Huh? Return on investment. Yeah.
This investment and the return on this investment is going to satisfy me, not just financially, but personally as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It is going to award you with dividends of both friendship and the money that we take.
No.
Yeah. Remember what I said? We should go into counseling together to make sure that our team is strong. And we did. And Dr. Helen was like, you are ready to go do more crimes. I believed her from that moment. And I knew that you would be on board.
And spot on impression of Dr. Helen. That was a spot on impression of Dr. Helen there.
You know, I love Dr. Helen. Oh, man.
I love what we have between us.
Yeah. We're not going to get caught. Not again.
No.
Not again, because we are not meant to be in separate prisons.
No.
Whew, that was hard.
Well, if we do get caught again, that'll be our third time. And there's always a third way to get out.
Holy smokes! Yes! Let's get my mask on now.
Let's do it. Scene. Oh. You are. It's so. Let's go rob. Let's go rob a bank right now.
Got the pantyhose mask on. That's how that works, right? You just pull it down.
I love. You have such a great energy that is just it allows people to feel like they can do anything with you because you're going to go, whatever it is, you're going to be like, yeah, and build upon that.
I'm always pumped.
Really?
Yeah, I'm always like, yeah, let's do this. Let's go. Let's do some crazy stuff.
I mean,
the more absurd, the better.
Yeah. Isn't that the whole point of doing improv, is to do crazy things that you don't get a chance to do in life and experience things other than what your normal day-to-day is?
Yeah. I mean, I could be working from home on stage, or I could be robbing a bank.
Why?
I don't make the rules.
Well, why do you think, do you have an idea of why people, if that was brought up in a scene and somebody's like, let's rob a bank, why do some people go, no, let's talk about not doing it, even though it's make-believe? You know what I mean? Do you have any idea of any insight as to why people would why they would tend to make that kind of choice versus doing it?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the beginning, and I've only been doing improv for 7 years, And I think at
Only,
the beginning you're like,
only.
long you're supposed to say like 25 years, and then someone's like, oh, okay.
Then they go, isn't
Yeah,
it time to get out?
like, no, I'm not gonna leave. Are you kidding? um, yeah, I mean, I think it's just fear. Like in the beginning, when I was first, performing, I was like, no, like the rules of the game are this, and my role is this, and your role is this, and you're so focused on trying to do things the correct way that you're
Yeah.
not hearing all of the gifts coming. And so I had to kind of give up my need for control. I mean, at least on stage anyway.
it was it was funny. I did this. I'm taking a workshop taught by Monica Gaga and Stephen Davidson about like inclusivity in improv, and it was like, what are things you do to when you're feeling sad? And it's all like, oh, it's all things I'm doing to try to control what's going on. That's what I'm doing. Is
Yeah.
I'm trying to control that. So I'll like, oh, let me like my big thing is ice cream. I will pound a pint of ice cream in a heartbeat. So that was
Same.
the first thing that came to mind. Is like, oh, I want to eat. I want to use my control. And yeah, you're right. It applies that same way to the stage. As people get so scared that if I can just control this scene, I'm fooling myself into thinking it's going to turn out better.
Yeah, or you're trying to predict where it's going to go, which isn't improv. At that point, you might as well just be doing stand up. Stand up is great. No one take that personally. But if you're planning out a set, just go do stand up.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we have to kind of learn is that, I mean, and this is the only chance that you don't have to have that control. You can be a cat in space trying to figure out what preschool your kitten is going to or something, Like, why wouldn't you want to do that?
Hold on. I'm writing that down to write a sketch about it because that's pretty awesome.
Do it. Yes.
We got to go to state. We got to go to St. Muse. That allows them to have the best chance in life.
Yeah.
Well, and you said yeah, that thing about stand up, which is it's also stand up's a very lonely, solitary form, and so yeah, when you're trying to control it, you're ignoring the fact that you've got somebody else there with you who, if you just give them a chance, you'll build something cool together.
Right. Yeah. Let them be the co-author of what you're doing, because if you're not, then you're just doing something by yourself. Now, doing like a scene by yourself, like those little solo scenes, that scares me.
Really?
Yeah, I may try it, but it's like, oh wait, I'm responsible for this whole thing. Oh no.
Yeah. I'm with you about 1,000,000% of
Yeah.
like I didn't like I tried stand up once. I didn't like it. I didn't like being by myself. I want somebody there. And the thought of like, no, you're improvising by yourself. It's like, no. I don't think I would have any joy doing that. I think my joy is working with other people.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always fun to kind of cross those two groups where, we'll bring on stand-up comedians in our scene to do like actor's nightmare or something with us. And it's always like both of us are out of our element. And it ends up being super fun because they're like, oh, okay, none of the set I've already written is gonna apply here. So I have to be free. And the improviser is like, I am limited to this sonnet and I
Wow.
have to make that
Yeah.
work, So yeah, just do what you want.
I mean, and isn't that it? It's like, I think we get into it and the first level is like, this is so great. And then the rules start coming and then the pain starts coming because you're trying to do it right and you're failing and you're not realizing these are tools to get you to a point where you feel you're confident enough to go into a scene and take out the tool you need to have the most fun that you can have.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, and that's why, so I teach our level one classes at Alchemy. And that's one of my favorite things about that is you get to see people in real time realize that they really do have a blank canvas to play with, and to just create something that's different or use regular life and just pull out the absurdity of
Yes.
it all, Like life is weird if we really think
Yes.
about it. Like all the
Yes.
things we do that we think is normal is very weird. There you go. See? Everybody just needs to get weird.
We,
That's the next rule of improv.
oh my God,
Get
that'd
weird.
be a great workshop title. If you ever taught a workshop, everyone needs to get weird.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll just be doing, humming and
Yeah,
running in circles. That's a workshop you just make up on, as you go. Because
yeah.
who's gonna ask? It's all weird.
Um, how did you get started in improv? What attracted you to doing it?
It was a total like chance. Like I won a free 101 class, a free
No.
platinum 101 class. Yeah. And it wasn't even really mine. Like someone else won it, wasn't able to use it and gave it to me. And so I was able to take Improv 101, and it was during like I'm one of those people that says like improv completely saved my life.
Yeah.
It was during a really hard time. So being able to process those feelings like made me fall in love with it. And next thing I knew, I'd taken all of the classes, and alchemy is such a great place to learn and to meet people. And we're a smaller theater, but that means that we have a closer knit community, and so you need that,
Yeah.
sometimes. So
Well, big time, and that's why people get into it. Is that for me? It was my level one class was that community of like, oh wow, I found people like me, and I looked around. And I'm like, I would never probably hang out with these people, but I'm forced to here, and now I'm finding the similarities, and I
yeah,
think the fact that you're still going when you also see all these big theaters closing down is a true testament of like it's it's hard to run an improv theater. It's hard even now to keep it going is like huge.
yeah,
Even when theaters start closing now, it's like, man, the fact you made it through this amount of time trying to transfer what has always been live in a room, now try to do that in a computer situation. I'm
yeah.
amazed. I'm amazed. I'm so thankful anytime that theaters keep going in these circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, and we're semi-dark for right now. Like everything we're doing is online, and we're still trying to get our festival and everything off the ground. But I think that's the great thing about being a smaller theater. It's not
Yeah.
like a corporation size. Is you can pivot early and just make it work for you. But if you have a giant bus, and
Right.
there's what, like three, four giant buses in comedy, it's gonna be harder for them to turn the ship. Or maybe five. I don't know.
Oh, I I mean, I laughed. Somebody's like, there was an article written that said so and so bought this improv theater with exposure. Like, oh, I'm going to give you exposure. That's what I'm going to pay. And it's like that's what they've lived on for a long time. Is kind of like a profit
Yeah.
theater running like a non-profit. So a lot of volunteer, and now you're like, oh, that plus if you expand too big and you don't really have a plan, and something sadly like this hits, it leaves you in a tough place. And like you said, those smaller theaters can go, okay, let's huddle up, let's bring everyone around, let's figure out what are we going to do, and let's just take it moment to moment and see what we can do and what works online now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now I'm worried about when we're able to go back. I mean, I think once we go back on a stage full strength, we're all going to be a little bit punch drunk and not
Yes,
know what's happening. Those shows are going to be terrible, but they're probably going to be fun.
everyone's going to sit in a chair
Just
looking
like,
at the audience like they're still on Zoom.
yeah, yeah, we're totally changing the game.
Well, it's so exciting to think about that, think about when that's going to happen, and then also think about, ooh, how can we combine the two, and how can we interface both virtual and in front of people, and can we take what we've
Yeah.
done here and then just keep expanding it?
Yeah, and performing with people around the world. Like 2 years ago, that would be you would have to be like spending money to
Yes.
go to different places to play with those people. I went to LA 2 years ago because I was like, I want to play with people I don't know.
Mm.
I had to save to do it, but now I could do it every week if I wanted to. So that's going to be hard to return from as well.
Well, what my hope is that we don't, is that we are able to still do this online virtual stuff. The technology just gets
Mhm.
better, and we learn to, change the stage of what virtual can be into something that that explores that more. So I think it's going to be here to stay. And I'm like you, like all I have to do is open up my computer and I can contact you and go, hey, let's do a scene. And we're able to figure out a time to do it, like without spending all of that money. Yeah. I don't want that to end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Great.
where can people find you? Like if they want to, follow what you're doing online or take a class or anything like that, what's the best way they can do that?
Yeah. So I'm based, my comedy home is Alchemy Comedy Theater in Greenville, South Carolina. We have our New South Comedy Festival coming up. It'll be in November, so you can find that online. And just for now, I'm playing with my home theater, and whoever reaches out and says, "Hey, I've never met you. Let's do this." So really just look for me on the internet. I'm literally the only Alrinthea out there. So you can find me.
You're like, share, just go by
Yeah,
Alrinthea. That's it.
yeah. And I searched myself just to be sure.
It's your right as an American.
Yeah.
Well, you're the best. It's such a joy playing with you, and I can't wait till we do it again, whether in person or virtually again. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. Rock and roll.
All right, take care.
Bye.